What, what's,
Hello, Mike.
hi.
Hey, okay, let's see if we can. Have you got a camera?
Hold on. I haven't fired it up yet.
Oh, okay, good. Here we are. Hey, Vinny.
Hey, George, how are you?
Okay, thank you. Good. See, I know. Are you on your wife's computer or your?
Yeah, she has a much better computer than I do. So,
Oh, she does. She does. No, you look great.
oh yeah,
Let me see. I just took my phone off the hook so the beeping would be over before the meeting starts.
meeting starts.
And let's see here.
How are things going so far with the ZBA? Everything good?
Oh yeah, actually, it's busy. I mean,
Yeah, you guys have been busy, which is unusual.
well, I'll tell you, yeah, with 40B, I mean, the amount of time you spend behind the scenes on these, my clients are wondering where I went. Yeah. But gee, so that thing will finish beeping in a minute. Mike, what have you been up to?
Where'd he go?
There you go. Hey, Mike. And let's see. Yeah, but Vinny, yeah, we'll start you off first and go through this. And actually, I've got the site plans and everything all ready to fire up on my screen so that we'll be able to.
Good, because I haven't got a clue.
But I've
how to do that
got that, and I've got all the information you sent to me about the new dimensions and everything, so I can run through that. And I'll ask you just to, let me know if I've got it right or wrong. Okay. Yeah. And let's see. There's 10 minutes early. There are some people with parties, they show up early. Usually it's show up as late as possible,
Then leave as early as possible.
That's it. Gee.
I always try to start early because it always seems like I have to upload something or something has to be updated or
well, and this new technology scares the hell out of me. Thank goodness Chris Costello knows how to run it. But yeah, I had one of our townspeople volunteered to do this with regulars, but it just isn't going to work. Not with these Zoom bombers, So Chris has got this.
That's scary.
Well, yeah, it's awful. Whenever there's something nice in this world, people try to screw it up.
Find a way to screw it up. That is so true.
Yeah. I mean, you have a beautiful monument and people want to scroll graffiti on it. It's just.
I could never figure that out. I don't understand how that's on. That's one kind of lost on me. So.
Yeah, it's just. I don't know. I mean, you can try to rationalize it. That they don't feel good about themselves or they resent other people, and so this is how they make a statement, a sort of a life-affirming statement. But gosh, it's just a shame. Yeah. Boy, I'll tell you, you go on a subway in this country and then take a subway in
Paris.
Yes. I mean, it's just like night.
Different world.
Night. Yeah. It's so let me just see here. So what are your plans going to be for holidays, Christmas, stuff like that. Does it get busy in your practice in December? Mine gets rotten in December.
Sometimes, I don't think it'll be this year, but sometimes the last week can be crazy because everyone wants to get stuff done before the first of the year.
Yeah.
But I don't think this year. I think hopefully I can wind some stuff down and take it a little easier than I have it.
Well, boy, I'll tell you, this election took a big crush away because I had a ton of people wanting to do different things.
Get them done beforehand.
Before next year. Yeah, they thought taxes would be going up, but yeah, I know a lot of estate planners who put on hold their plans to buy new Mercedes. You know, they were. It's.
I don't even know why I went, but I know you do ERISA stuff. But I went to it was like a dinner meeting the other night, and they were talking about 401ks and all.
Yeah.
Secure 2.0, and that's your field. But that's
Well, you know, that's actually that is not that hard. I mean, you know, once you know the detail and you got some background, the stuff I do that's really kind of complicated is in the dealing with these senior officers at say public companies, things like that. You know, that's a whole different thing because you're looking at securities law as well as sometimes ERISA and some tax laws that are just extraordinarily complex. There's this one statute, 409A, that I'll tell you, there are lawyers who have made a career just that one section of the Internal Revenue Code.
I believe it.
Yeah. And you know, you say, oh, was it the Democrats? That actually was a Republican idea to create something so complex. They put a big revenue collection next to it as an estimate, which made it possible to lower corporate rates. This was the Bush law. And, you know, it's that shell game they play in Washington.
Money's got to come from someplace, right? Theoretically, or not be spent someplace. So, yeah.
Who just joined us? Hey, Chris, hi. And if we got everyone's, so we've got Mike, me. I don't know how to get my name. Hey, there he is. All right. I don't know how to get my name on here instead of Dover Board of Appeals. There must be. Chris. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hi. Yeah. How do I do that?
All right, George, can you I'm gonna reclaim the host from you. Did you start
sure. Oh, okay, yes.
Just gives me more features, that's all.
Oh yeah, so what okay, so you're the host. Good, okay. Excellent, please. Yeah.
All good now.
Yeah, we're just chewing the fat. Mike, literally. What do you is that supper?
All right.
Oh, super. Hey, thank you.
Wow. You're welcome.
Okay. And let me see here. 3 more minutes and
all right, I'm seeing Laverne, the attendees. Yes, Vincent?
I think I met you. Have I met you yet?
Yeah. You probably. I think you stopped by my office.
Yeah, I stopped by your office, right? Yeah. So you're the IT guy too, sort of.
I wear a lot of hats. Let's say that.
Chris is invaluable. I'll tell you. I mean, it's.
Okay, am
Laverne,
I in?
you there?
Hey,
Yeah,
hello, Laverne.
I never understand why I don't get a picture. I used to always have a picture. Now I just have a little.
You should have a little camera. You should have a little camera or something on the bottom of your screen.
Bottom left-hand corner.
Let's get Laverne on screen.
No, I've always had it before. Let's see if this does it.
Yeah.
No. No?
Whoops, oh, Nancy Green's calling, hold it. Hi,
Okay.
Nancy. You bet. In fact, actually, Chris is on the line, and let me tell him, and because he's got a special link for us as panel members, and okay.
George,
Let me just ask Chris.
if
This is Nancy.
yeah,
If she clicked the agenda link, can you bring her back in or?
absolutely. Yeah, just have her go through the agenda. I'll move her in.
Okay. So all you have to do, Nancy, have you got the agenda there with its link? Because if you click that, then okay, good. And he'll bring you up to the panel. Okay. You got it. Hey. Not here. And Tanya is the lawyer for the developer. Hello, Tanya.
Hello. Thank you for having me tonight.
Well, yes. It's good to have you. We're just, we've got one member who is going to connect. And what we're doing, Tanya, the first order has nothing to do with your client. We've got a variance application on a piece of land on the other side of town. And let's just wait for Nancy to show up.
I'm on.
Beautiful, Nancy. And Vinny, is your client going to attend, or is it just you?
I don't know. I don't think he will, but he wanted to have if he could, he was going to pop in, but he may or may not. So we can start without him, not worried.
Well, listen, let's move this right along. It is now 7 o'clock. The meeting is, this is a meeting of the Dover Board of Appeals. It's being recorded on Zoom with special webinar precautions, thanks to Chris Costello, who is the only guy who knows how to work this, but it's wonderful. It protects us from Zoom bombers who afflicted some of our boards. Board members, would you please just for a roll call, let us know who's here?
Nancy Green.
Mike Donovan,
Laverne
Nadir.
Lovell,
Nadir Ahmed.
even though you can't see me.
Excellent. And I guess, I don't know if it's good news or bad news, but the Board of Selectmen is meeting tonight. Laverne, you're being reappointed for another 3-year sentence. Mike and Nancy, you'll be reappointed for 1-year terms. And Nadir, you've got another year on your term. So you would be, if you wanted to continue serving, that would be next year. And my term is 3 years from this August. I don't know if Kristen Gagalis is going to join us. She may call in when we have 40B, the 40B application.
George,
So let's start with,
she's on.
pardon?
Yeah.
Kristen appears to be on.
Okay. Now for 62 Claybrook, this is the third session of our hearing. It follows 2 sessions in October and a site walk. And with us is Vincent O'Brien, attorney Vincent O'Brien. And essentially at our last hearing, we're looking at 62 Claybrook. And there was a request to Vinny to consult with his client on a number of matters that concern the board in connection with possibly granting a variance. And I'd like to share my screen with you because Vinny has shown me, and let me just see if I can get this right. We've now got a new site plan. Can you see that?
No.
No.
Let me see here. as far as sharing the screen. Chris?
Chris had taken host. Maybe you have to take host back. I don't know. If that's
Okay, so I'm
something.
not seeing anything on the screen, but panelists should be able to share, George. So you see at the
Let's
bottom
see
the little
here.
green
Okay.
share screen.
Yeah, let me just see if I can, because I pressed the share screen button.
Yeah, and another window should pop up.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
And
So let me just see
select
what's going on. Okay.
the document you want to share.
Yeah. Okay. Gosh darn it.
Yeah, you just have to have the document that you want to share already open.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Just a sec. Okay. So share. Okay. And, oh, I see. Okay. So I don't go to just, okay. So I just, oh, I see. Okay. I got you. Okay. Now
There you go.
you can see the share. Okay. So can you now see the new site plan, everyone?
Yep.
You're a
Okay.
magician, George.
Well, I'll tell you, again, we had our Chris, our good webinar shepherd, taking care of us. First thing, the structure has been moved back. It's now 85 feet from the road, not 66 feet, and much more than the required 40 feet. So by moving it back, they've used as much of the lot before they hit the wetland issues on this lot. So they've moved it back. The second thing is the building is now centered because we were concerned about it basically crowding over too much on the lot to the right as you look at this. So it's now centered. It is a much smaller building. So the result is that, we have a 30-foot setback requirement from these side boundaries under the bylaw. But instead of 30 feet, it would be 21 feet on each side, meaning that the variance would be to give them 9 feet allowance on the sides. So that is about, and now the big thing also, the building's a lot smaller. Vinny, if I've got this correct, it's just 1 foot under 2,700 feet.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah. So we were looking, as originally proposed, it was 3,400 feet.
Right.
But now it is 2,699 square feet. And the height has also been reduced from 35 feet to approximately 29 and a half feet.
Right. The three things that we discussed at the last meeting, we're trying to accomplish those three things.
Exactly.
We had started closer to the right lot line, we centered it. Laverne and Nancy suggested getting it under the 3,000 square feet. We got it down to 2,699 square feet plus or minus. And we did that by reducing the height and eliminating any living area on the third floor, bringing it down from 35 feet, which is the typical required or allowed height, down to 29 and a half. It might actually be 29 and a quarter, but 29 and a half feet plus or minus. So we tried to address all the issues that concerned the board members at our last hearing.
Yeah, well, that's very helpful, Vinny. And basically, our standard for variances, I've highlighted these. These are from our bylaw. We've got to find that circumstances relating to soil conditions, topography, shape of the land structures, which affect this, and don't generally affect the zoning district itself. And there, I mean, we've certainly got a lot which is similar to the lots right next to it. They've got wetlands behind. They've all got grandfathered frontage, so that which they were able to do before the 150-foot frontage came. So this lot has wetlands, and Vinny has moved the house back as far as he can go to without getting into wetland problems. It's also at a part of the lot where it's a bit wider, because that, and I'll give you I'll show you the map again, but we've all seen it and walked it. So we've got to find that if you want to put a house there, that a literal enforcement of the sideline requirements, 30 feet on each side, would essentially make the lot non-buildable. What they've done is they've really reduced the size of the house, and they've centered it, and so that it's affecting each lot pretty much the same. And let me just get you copies of what the let me just see here. First, this was what was submitted to us, and it's a nice, easy thing to look at. Back when it was 3,400 feet required, you can see how you've got 60 next door, then 62, 64, 66. So it's very similar. I mean, and the houses that are there already, 3964, 1998. This one is going to now be 2,700. And next to that is 3360. So it is actually the second smallest of these four lots in terms of what they're going to build. Now, then this is just another map showing the same thing. This lot is in the yellow highlight.
It's actually the lot to the left of the yellow highlight. The yellow highlight is 60.
Oh, okay. Yep. Gotcha. And so that is pretty much really what we're looking at. Does any board member have questions or like to comment on this? Yes, Laverne.
I went by there yesterday, and Mr. Skillings probably saw me walking around the lawn because I wanted to see what it looked like. It was staked.
Yes.
And it looks much better. They did everything that we asked. I think it looks perfect.
Excellent.
Thank you. And she made it shorter too. Not so much just smaller, but I think it's 5 feet shorter. So it won't be so much of an impact on the neighbor. With yeah, I thought it was very good. Nice job.
Well, I'm glad you did that. It's sadly, I was out hiking the other day with white socks to keep ticks away, and I ran into a couple of bow hunters. so I started thinking, oh my gosh, we're going to have members walking around with these stakes, and I don't know if they have hunting in that neighborhood, but yeah, you don't wear white.
So Vin, the only question I have for you is there's a deck off the back that's sitting in the wetland buffer. Are you going to be able to do that?
Yeah, we've already got approved. That the buffer is just a jurisdictional zone.
Okay.
So you can do anything in the jurisdictional zone under the State Act. Under Dover's Act, they have 70-foot no structure setback, and we're 30 feet from that almost. And then they have a no disturb of 50 feet. So the 100 feet's a jurisdictional, and what you have to do is, if you're working in that jurisdiction, you have to show that you're not going to have a negative impact on the wetlands. And we've already our order of conditions for this, and it's already been. I'm not sure if it's been recorded yet, but we've got it from the Conservation Commission.
All right, so you've already been in front of Concom.
Yep, we've been in front of Concom, and we've been before the Board of Health. I don't think we've got the final Board of Health. Just a couple of minor, procedural things to design things, but we have the order of conditions in hand based upon a building envelope, because we didn't have a final approved building, but with the setbacks determined from Concom.
So if I'm looking at the plan, where is the septic on this?
It is kind of back and to the left of the deck, in between the.
Is it right there?
See the leaching field?
Yeah.
The tank.
That's the leaching field is.
Up
the
front.
Oh, up here. Okay, here you are. This little
I think the
inset
tank
up
is
on
in
the
the
right.
back. I think I thought I.
Isn't that the neighbors?
No,
No,
that's smaller. That's showing the whole lot.
yeah,
If you blow that out, George, you'll see that's just
yeah.
a whole lot.
So it's in the front. It's in the
Yeah.
front left, yeah, by
I
the
think the
street.
tank's
Up
towards the
by-
back and then it goes to the front. Thought I had a plan, but yeah, that's been approved by the Concom. And
Oh,
I mean, the location of that and as you can see, the proposed wells in the back. And we were really close to Board of Health. I'm not sure if that's been issued yet, but we're pretty much there for the system we require.
okay.
The placement of the septic is new. Right? I thought it had been when we did the site walk, it had been closer to the rear. Or am I?
I think Mike's on. Mike, can you explain the location of the septic? You on, Mike?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Hi, good evening, everybody. It's right up in the front, parallel to mine, at 60. Dropped off all the copies to Jason today that he required some changes from the engineer. But he said he should be able to do something by next Wednesday. So he was happy with what we presented today.
So I'm confused. So if I'm looking at George, can you move your mouse or the cursor over to where the septic is?
Yeah, right here is, you see this inset?
Yeah.
And the road. So this would be where the house is. So this is the leaching field right here.
It's right in the front,
Yes,
next to the driveway, next to the driveway.
That doesn't
Yes.
look next to the driveway. The driveway's down at the bottom.
well, see, okay.
See, there's a driveway there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. And so the leaching field would be right here, look, based on the inset, correct?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
when I walk the property, there's some sort of a tube. I forget what they call it. But I thought that was the neighbors, and there's that retaining wall. I thought that was the neighbor's property.
That probably, on the left-hand side.
Well, I'm looking at the picture. I'm looking at the right. When I look at the plan, I'm on the right-hand side, and I walk the property. It was very close to the neighbors. What I thought it was their septic.
They may have a vent pipe from their septic. Possibly.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, there's different systems. Mike, probably you have a better handle on this than me, but there are certain systems that have vent pipes. They're dosing systems,
Yeah.
fast systems, amphidrome systems. So that might be the pipe of their venting for the neighbor.
So the septic is not this little square thing over toward the right-hand side. That's not our septic. That's their
No.
septic.
That's theirs.
Yeah.
Their septic. Okay, that's where I'm confused. Yep.
Yeah, based on this inset, which is really just sort of a mini map of this, it looks like the leaching field is right through here.
Correct.
Next to the owner's other lot.
Got it.
Correct.
Okay. So what's the setback requirement for building next to the neighbor's septic?
There's, I think, 10 feet. The bigger issue is not the septic system, it's the well. You have to be 100 feet away from the well typically, and the well in this property is way in the back. If you can see on the inside, it's in the
Yeah,
back.
the well is way back here, correct?
So the well's closer to the wetlands, and the septic
Yeah.
system is as far away from the wetlands as you can get.
And really far from the septic field, which is up near the road.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Vin.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any?
George,
Yes, Mike.
the house was relocated on the lot, and it went back further than the original. Does this house have a usable backyard because it's right near the wetlands?
That's
Yeah, yeah.
Family buys the house, they want a nice backyard for their kids.
Yeah.
Are
Yeah, if you-
wetlands?
Mike, if you can see on the plan, you'll see
Yeah.
where the house is right at the 100 foot. The no structure is 70 feet, no disturb is 50 feet, and the existing lawn goes back beyond that. So there's a, reasonably good sized backyard back there.
Okay.
And it's not soaking wet either. You're not going to do anything back there, but there's still, property back there.
And I see something on this map right here, existing limit of lawn.
Right. That's where the lawn currently is.
Yeah.
Right, so you got
Pretty
plenty
good
of
sized backyard.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Mike, that's a good question. Okay, I think I think we really could be in position to grant this. I would recommend this if other board members feel the same way. And I would shape this in our vote, but the motion would be that we grant sideline variances of 9 feet. And Vinny, we don't want this to fall apart because of a couple inches one way or the other. Is 9 feet adequate? I mean, you're comfortable that when the building goes in, you'll be able to essentially have 21-foot setbacks on each side?
Yeah, that would be fine. And typically what, Walter would do is see what the plan was and go by that too. But 9 feet should do it. That gives us a couple of extra inches to play with.
Okay. And then in terms of the dimensions of the house, I mean, you've got this right now at 2,699 square feet, which is the living area. That doesn't include the garage, I assume, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. It
So,
takes up a good chunk. Yeah, that's correct.
so essentially, are we being too tight to say that it should be 2,700 feet or less, or do you need a little extra margin there, which would still be much less than we requested?
It would make me feel good. We have a plan that we're going to attach and file. Obviously, we always kind of cut things a little close.
Yeah.
So a little breathing room wouldn't hurt.
Well, I mean, honestly, just speaking for myself, I mean, if it were 2,800 instead of 2,700, that allows, we don't want Walter to say it can't be done because of a couple of feet one way or the other. I'd be inclined to have a little extra here because what we're trying to do here for a variance is just have the house fit in with the neighborhood. And at 2,800, it is still smaller than the other houses with one exception.
But
That
George,
gives us a little breathing room.
George, would you do that in pulling it towards the front, or are you going to allow them to move?
I would think, well, since we know, I mean, where we're granting the specific relief is on these sideline setbacks. And here we're saying the setbacks have to be on each side, not 21 feet instead of 30. So that is going to be specific. No, he's got to stay 21 feet away from each sideline boundary. For the rest of it, I would think that we've seen the location that's proposed. And if it ended up that they maybe went to the back a little bit or to the front a little bit, I mean, on the front, it's 85 feet instead of 40 feet. So if it in the front looks like his garage, but I'm just trying to say, hey, let's have this done so there is no aggravation over a couple of feet if when they're building something and then has to come back to us and we'd have to spend more time whether it's 2,700 feet or 2,800 feet. The key thing for the variance is the sideline setbacks. So I just would not want to, I recommend more engineering on it. If we build in, a few feet over his current 2,700 foot or 2,699 foot estimate.
Yeah, George, I don't. Go ahead. Sorry, Laverne.
I'd be afraid if you gave them an inch, they might take a mile. I like the thing that's presented the way it is. It looks perfect. Let's
Yeah.
stick with that. Let's stick with what we've got.
Yeah, so I agree. I think that we are
Okay.
best suited to approve the plans in front of us, and it feels too speculative to try to approve some other potential changes. So
Okay.
my thought would be to just, deal with the
Okay.
case in front of us.
Yeah,
Good. So essentially then,
and we
so
provide plans that you can actually vote on too. I mean, we actually provided the plans, so we can build to that plan, and we will.
so our variance
perfect.
would be, we'd be allowing on the sideline, there'd be a 9 feet taken away from the 30 feet on either side. That the residence, the living area of the residence would be capped at let's round it off to 2,700 feet. Give them an extra foot. Okay.
We'll give them a foot. We'll give them an extra
Yeah,
foot.
yeah,
Okay.
and that the distance between the garage, which is in front of the building, that would be at least 85 feet, which is what's being proposed here. So that way we've got it back away from the street. We've got the sidelines, really in a nice location. And we know the size of the building. Do we legislate height also to 29.5 feet or make that 30 feet now, or is that?
You can vote to approve the plan. The plans were submitted if that's easy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that
something
makes the
like
most
that.
sense. Because I also think
Yes.
9 different because
Okay, just the plan as submitted without being specific.
Right.
Okay,
Exactly.
fine.
It's pretty good.
That's easier to draft.
Well, that's what I'm trying to help you there.
Who wants to? And I'll reference these. So I guess who wants to make a motion? And then the motion that goes in will include that as close as possible, subject to a little grammar or paragraph or whatever.
So, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept the plan for 62 Claybrook Road as it was submitted to the board.
Very nice. I like it.
and to grant a variance, a special,
yes,
and the alternative, a variance in order to allow that plan to be implemented by the developer.
Okay. Okay. I'd like to I'd like to be specific about the sideline setbacks, because that is really what triggered all of this, the building inspector. So I'd like to be clear there that there still has to be a 21-foot setback on each side, which is as submitted, I guess. I'd like to be sure that is
I agree.
in the record. Okay, so we've got a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Nancy Green.
Okay, you bet.
Nadir Ahmed, aye.
Wonderful. Okay, I
Hi,
think
Mike Donovan.
And
Vinny,
the level, we're all okay. Thank you.
Vinny, you have been wonderful to work with.
It's always a
and,
pleasure being with you guys. So thank you very much.
Okay.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Hey,
Thanks, Vin.
Thank you. You too.
Sure.
Thanks, Vin.
got it.
Thank you.
Okay, next is we've got some time now. We've got 2 sets of minutes to review, but let's do the 2028 minutes. Okay, and for the minutes for the November 4th hearing, we'll wait until we open that hearing for 8185 Tisdale, because this is really this is different. This was our
Airbnb.
the Airbnb application, and I've circulated this to everyone a long time ago.
Mhm.
And essentially, we granted the special permit. It's been recorded, and there have been no appeals filed. So I think that was good. And I think I may have mentioned this. I did ask around town hall and you know, one of our planning board people, you know, is there a sentiment in town to stop Airbnbs? Because we did hear that from a couple of the neighbors. We also had
All of
neighbors
them.
who thought they were wonderful. And, you know, but I thought if there was a big appetite in the town to stop them, would it be worthwhile for the planning board to make a motion in, you know, for the next town meeting? And but there was no appetite for that from the planning board chair. I don't know what do you feel? I actually, I'll tell you, I went on Google and just checked for Airbnb. I went into the site. I can see at least one other house. Looks like a charming place, but they've never gotten a permit. I don't know how many others do this, but you know, what are your thoughts about Airbnb, and should the town stop them, keep them going? I mean, what do you think? It would have to be town meeting vote, obviously.
I don't know if there's any way to stop them. I could see that the neighbors for that one on Dover Road were kind of annoyed. You'd hate to see the whole town filled with Airbnbs. They're filling all over the place. So
Yeah.
I don't really know what to say. There's one on Pine Street, the only other one that has come in for a permit.
Right.
Yeah. So I think we should have some kind of regulations about them, but I don't know what. I don't know what.
Well, right now, I mean, the rule that was added was you can only do these in the discretion of the zoning board. I mean, that's it's up to us. And I think we've gotten with this one and the Pine Street, which preceded me, I mean, basically the same concept. You know, no on-street parking, no loud parties, no vaping.
Dogs.
Yeah, which are all things that Airbnb requires. And here, you know, just so we don't seem like we're restraining trade, you know, our decision said it could be Airbnb or some other type of service that was acceptable to us, you know, which has these same underwriting standards as Airbnb. I mean, it's okay. I just think if I were living next to a place that had lots and lots of in and out, even if they're nice people, it's not quite the same as living in a single family zone that you would expect. But it is a right subject to our granting a permit, unless town meeting says no more short-term rentals. And there, the definition of short-term rental was less than 30 days. After that, there's no restriction at all. But Nancy, what do you feel about this?
I'm okay with Airbnb. I mean, like you said, it's a right. I don't know. Do I want my neighbors renting out their house to, I don't know. You know, there's a risk. There's a risk to, you know, who they rent to. But I think this and the way these people at 25 Dover Road, they certainly seem to do their work and scrutinizing who they rent it to. And you'd want to hope that whoever rents their house out tries to do the same thing. So I'm in favor of it based on, you know, the discipline around it. You know, could it get out of hand? Yeah, I don't know if it needs to go to the town needs to vote on it.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And you know what impressed me, and which I've got in the minutes, is you know, the neighbors Stephen Virginia White, who just were so full of praise about the way this couple was running it. I mean, to the point where the bridesmaids at a wedding in Wellesley were not allowed in because they might be partying. I thought, you know, that shows common sense. That shows real common sense. But Okay, well, anyway, may I have a motion to, okay, now the second part of the minutes basically dealt with 62 Claybrook. We dealt with the two legal theories that Vinny had suggested. One of them basically that because there was a shack, you really didn't need a variance. You could improve it under this obscure 40A section 6. If a little shack counts as a house, I mean, that's just not good. I think we all felt that it was better to go under the variance standards. So we really made clear to Vinny about that, which has a tougher standard than the 40A section 6. But we have all of those factors with the land, that there were the wetlands, other things that variance was appropriate to put it through that additional scrutiny. So this talks about this and the setbacks. And so I think here, these are fair minutes. I also point out that the neighbors who showed up later in the hearing after, I've included their objections to the Airbnb, and that it's been filed. And so that would be it. And Laverne, you are the secretary. I mean, I like to write these actually,
Yeah.
But you know what I'd like to do, if you don't mind, with our minutes that are approved, I'll set them up for your signature as secretary.
Okay.
Send them to Felicia, and you can then go into town hall and sign them, and then she'll load them onto our website. And then I think we're caught up with minutes, except for, I guess there are a couple of meetings in May where Felicia didn't get around to, she's so busy. But the film of those meetings is apparently lost because of this YouTube problem with the town. So we'll have to figure out how to fill in the hole for those minutes. They don't need to be ultra specific, but that's about all we can do. But that will then have us on a schedule where ideally every time we have a meeting, we have minutes, and they're approved on the following meeting. And although state law gives us 3 meetings to do in 2 minutes, okay, but that would be great. May I have a motion to accept these minutes as written?
I move that we accept the minutes as written.
Excellent.
Thank you, George.
Okay, is there a second? And then all in favor is?
I
Second.
Excellent. Okay, all in favor?
You're in favor.
But hey, when I do these minutes, because I'm lousy at taking notes on stuff, I usually don't say which person nominated and which one seconded and stuff. I don't think we need to do that. Is that okay? I mean, unless you want to have your name in stars on these famous minutes, but that's great. So we're all set. And I think now we had scheduled this for 7:40 to go on to 8185 Tisdale. So we're on schedule. We can shoot the breeze for 3 minutes. In fact, let's find out about Tanya. Don't talk about the project, but tell us about your law practice. How long have you been at this?
Gosh, I've been at this now for over 25 years. I used to work in the city of Boston's Corporation Counsel's office and did a lot of land use development, environmental prosecution there. So, and moved to the South Shore with my family and started working in the private sector probably about like 20 years ago or so, and have been doing this ever since. So yeah.
Well, that's great. It's well, it's nice to have you here. And let's see, and then the other lawyer from your firm who was not able, to be here tonight. Describe him a little bit. What's his background? What are his hobbies? And I know what they are. I checked on the web,
So Walter Mirioni is one of the founding partners of the firm that I'm with now, Mirioni, Shaughnessy, and Udy. He is always the first one in the office at, God knows, I think 7 in the morning, and has a couple of little kids. He lives in Easton, and he's been practicing longer than I have, probably 30-ish years. I'm not gonna throw his age under the bus, so but yeah, he's very good at what he does.
Oh, that's great. Now so we're almost at 7:40. Chris, are you able to see how many people are there in addition to folks on the panel?
Yeah, we have 14 attendees.
Okay. Well, listen, what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. Great. And I think we can, let me see, it'll be one more minute and we can get started. And okay, actually, and now, Chris, for our panel for this, we've already got Tanya, who's the lawyer for the developer, and then I think. No, excuse me. No, Tanya, you're the lawyer for the residents, the trust.
No. I'm the lawyer for the developer, Tisdale Land LLC. Okay. Yep.
Good. And
you were right the first time.
Okay, good. Okay, and then now let's see. Have we got? Let's see here. Paul McGovern, the developer, is he here?
Yes, I'm here, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everybody.
Hello, Paul. And let's see here. Who else have we got? Is Dylan? I don't know if Dylan Brown is attending tonight.
He's in as an attendee rather than a panelist. He is on, but as an attendee.
Okay, Chris, could we bring Dylan Brown onto the panel, please?
Yep, you just moved it.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for sending that link over.
Oh, that's great. Well, good. So we've got, and you are the lawyer for the Neighbors Trust. That's right.
That's correct.
That's correct. Okay. So anyway, I had, hope that we might get into a little more detail in this meeting, and I spoke with Paul. Paul actually contacted me and asked for another couple of weeks to really give us a more detailed response, because we gave him a tall order, which was respond to all of these concerns that the town raised with their letter to MHFA last year. That was a letter that recommended that MHFA not approve the site. And there were a number of issues that were raised, and we can go through those again, but it's, road size, increased traffic, inability to have a turnaround at the cul-de-sac for emergency vehicles and school buses, concerns about the adequacy of the water, the septic arrangement, is the on-site system sufficient for the needs of that area. So those were all listed. We listed them in our meeting yesterday, and everyone can see the town's concerns on the website. So that is in our meeting, in our minutes that we're going to approve from our first session. We're also including for everyone to see specifically how you get on the website. Some people may not know how to do that. So there will actually be instructions, and we're trying to keep that populated with what the developer submits and what Dylan submitted with his serious questions about the road, who owns it, is there access available to the project? So those are all huge issues, and they're going to be addressed. They have to be addressed. And Paul, so what I think we should be doing is setting a specific date for the next session of this hearing. Deferring to Paul's request that there be at least 2 weeks. And the week of December 9th, with the exception of Monday, correct, Laverne?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, but I was thinking that Thursday, December 12th, if that works for other board members, that gives Paul more than 2 weeks to really get us a package. And I'm assuming, Paul, at this stage, you've got studies and other things on a number of these topics. There are some things you don't have yet, certainly, but we'd like to know where the status is of the Conservation Commission, what's the status of what you may be doing with the Board of Health at this point. So we're looking for more than a nice letter with prose descriptions. We're really looking for some data. And what we're going to do, I've got some good news for everyone. We had trouble getting a consultant initially, and you need a consultant for this project. And the consultant that the town has had in the past, Judy Barrett, was just too tied up. She's doing all these MBTA zoning plans for different towns. So I went to the Mass Housing Partnership, and Judy is listed there as one of their persons. And I applied for a grant, which hopefully will be $10,000. I've been told it's in process, but they also gave me the name of a consultant. And I spoke with him today, Ezra Glenn. He is an MIT professor, an enormous experience. And I'm going to share my screen again, if I can do it correctly. I want to show you his CV. And he told me he could do this on Thursday, December 12th also. So are there any other board members who have trouble with the 12th, Thursday the 12th? Anyone have any trouble with that date?
No.
Okay.
No, that works for.
Okay, well, let's continue. We'll be continuing to December 12th at 7 p.m. And then let me just share the screen so you get to know him a bit better. And let's see here. This is lovely Dover in the spring. And let's see here. Okay. I got to tell you, I look at all of the stuff, and I'm going to go at all of the affiliations, the accomplishments. But, I was thinking at first, he must be 120 years old to have done all this stuff, but he's not. But I wanted also to see the 40B projects. And he's done, in fact, let me just go through. I mean, he's done Wakefield, Swampscott, Manchester by the Sea, Wakefield, Winchester, Belmont, Peabody, Winchester, Ipswich, Westford, Medway, and Duxbury, Halifax. So although he has, like any of these planners, they work with big cities, but he's got a lot of experience with smaller communities. And speaking with him, he was very clear, and this is exactly the way the process has to run. And it's what the housing partnership insists on. He's here to advise us, but he is not going to be an advocate for one side or the other. And basically to give us guidance and also to help us in finding the experts who will be able to examine what Paul's experts provide. So, you know, we expect traffic studies from Paul. We'll have a traffic expert who can work with that. Maybe the experts, you know, work together to come to some conclusion. But getting a consultant on board was really key for us. And now, you know, we've really only got 180 days from the day that Paul filed this in October. I imagine we could have extensions, but that would be, it's better to get projects like this, if we can, done within that 180 days. So that is, you know, we've got some good progress here. I think here what would be helpful to us might be if we ask first the neighbor, the lawyer for the neighborhood trust, which is essentially the, you know, all of the people who live on Tisdale. They all belong to this trust. This trust is for their benefit. Dylan, will you give us just a bird's eye view of your concerns, especially with respect to the road?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Mr. Chairman. For those who don't know me, my name is Attorney Dylan Brown. I'm an attorney with the law office of Marcus Arrigo, Emmer and Brooks, and our firm represents the County Court condominium, which is a 56-unit residential condominium, which directly abuts the proposed project site at 81 and 85 Tisdale Drive. I know, Mr. Chairman, you would like us to be brief. So what I'd like to say is that the condominium trust concerns echo the concerns that have been raised by the town in their opposition letter dated of October of last year. But primarily, they can be categorized in 4 different types of issues. And I'll go through those quickly, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
The first is that the condominium trust questions the developer's right to access Tisdale Drive. Tisdale Drive was constructed as part of the county court condominium, and therefore it is condominium property owned by the condominium trust. And absent an express grant from the association to the developer or any other home for that matter, the developer doesn't have a right to use Tisdale Drive. We've conducted a title search, and we find that the association has never granted any sort of access rights to the owners of 81 or 85 Tisdale Drive. And without those access rights, we question the developer's ability to use Tisdale Drive as part of this development. But even if an easement had been granted, we would argue that the addition of 42 apartments, somewhere upwards of perhaps 100 vehicles on any daily given basis, could be an overburden of that easement. So for those reasons, we're questioning the access rights. The second issue has to deal with traffic and safety issues, as we outlined in our opposition letter, which is submitted on November 4th, prior to that hearing. Tisdale Drive is only 22 feet wide. So that inhibits and doesn't allow for two lanes of flowing traffic. And obviously, if there's only one-way traffic during rush hours, during, you know, coming to and from work every day, it's obviously going to cause traffic in an area that's already grossly congested, you know, given its proximity to Route 109. But in addition to not being wide enough for two-ways traffic, it's also not wide enough to construct sidewalks on the property, even if that were a condition of this project. And that's a particular concern to the association because there's a number of children and students who utilize the Dover-Sherburne school system, and those students walk up and down Tisdale Drive, you know, twice a day. And they walk to a bus stop that's actually located along the state highway of Route 109. So the parents are rightfully concerned that, you know, if we're adding upwards of perhaps 100 cars on Tisdale Drive twice a day, that's going to subject, you know, the health and safety of those children who would normally just walk in the middle of the roadway. Parking is also an issue for the association. We took a look at the zoning bylaws, and I understand this is a comprehensive permit, but section 185-35 provides that there needs to be 2 parking spaces per dwelling unit. So with 42 apartments, there needs to be 84 parking spaces. And there's only 65 that have been proposed. The association's biggest concern is that because you can't park along Tisdale Drive, the town doesn't allow that. The association is concerned that for tenants who can't park in the apartment complex, they're going to resort to the next best thing, which would be parking either in the common area or in the association's parking spaces, which would detriment nobody but the association itself. And the final issue, Mr. Chairman, is that the association and the condominium have been plagued with water supply and water quality issues for years now. The condominium receives its water from underground water wells that are privately owned by the Aquarian Water Company. And the association has had issues with Aquarion for years. Specifically, their system doesn't provide enough water pressure to the residents in the condominium. So that inhibits and prohibits these homeowners from cleaning, bathing, and cooking properly within their own homes. Then what's probably even worse is that the water quality is so poor that this water often runs brown, which is actually required Aquarion to provide these residents with bottled water on more than one occasion. So ultimately, the board and the associations and all the residents' main concern is that if this water system is already broken, what's going to be the impact if we're adding 42 apartments that some include 3 bedrooms, that are going to be utilizing the same water system? So if the system's already broken, it's going to crumble to the ground and impact both the apartment complex and the association. And that's why we're looking for some feedback from the developer, how they're going to respond to these issues. But if they can't, we're going to ask that the town deny the comprehensive permit application.
Thank you. What I assured the developer, we were not making any decisions this evening. We just really, partly, I wanted to have you, Dylan, introduce yourself to the board, and thank you. That was informative and brief.
but I stuck to my rule. I stuck to my promise, Mr. Chairman.
We'll have a lot of time together over the next few months. And then I think, Paul, your attorney is here. Would you like your attorney to say anything? Absolutely not necessary. You're going to have your time in the spotlight in a couple of weeks. But if you'd like to have your attorney say anything, or
yeah,
if
I'm not sure if Tanya wants to say anything. I think
really
the only thing that we want to contribute this evening is that we are working on our formal responses to all of the issues that have been raised. We anticipate having, like I said, formal responses within the next 2 weeks, and we would like to reserve our comments until we have submitted those, and there will be ample time for discussion at upcoming hearings. Tanya, obviously, if there's anything you want to add to that, please feel free.
No, that's it. It was my understanding we were basically, we were here in a listening capacity tonight because we are working on a thoughtful written response to the concerns of the board, the town, and the neighborhood association.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. I think at this stage, I'm going to, I think, go back, Dylan, to you, because and to your client.
Sure.
Everyone knows that 40B projects create enormous concern for people who live in the area already. It's just a fact. And I've received a number of emails from residents. I feel badly. I'm not responding to residents directly for a couple of reasons. It's just I don't kid myself to think that I'm as important as a judge, or that anyone else on the board is as important as a judge, but we are actually supposed to sit here as if we were judges. We are making a decision based on the facts that get presented. So if you were in a trial, you wouldn't send emails to the judge. The judge wouldn't respond. And, that's hard, especially when you live in a town and you've got neighbors, people you just hate to have that seem stuffy, but it's just an absolutely necessary procedure. And if we were to start responding directly with neighbors, if anything, let's say, how do we then prevent the party that loses from saying that those emails prejudiced the case. I just want everyone to understand we have to insist on that. And you're a great lawyer. You can present the arguments, for the trust, and that if there is something that is totally different. I mean, there are, at least at our last hearing, we had one neighbor who was not part of the trust. And I'm not saying everyone has to hire an attorney, but I would urge people, reserve your comments to things that maybe haven't already been brought up or are being brought up already, because then it just becomes redundant. This is not like town meeting. It's a legal process, and the more we have smart attorneys on each side helping to coordinate this, the better the process is going to be. Thank you for that. Okay, I would say at this stage, there's really nothing further for us to do on this project except to review and approve minutes that I drafted for, Paul, you've got your hand up?
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Chairman. I'm wondering if there's any possibility that we could have the peer reviewers potentially on board in advance of the next meeting. Do you think there's a possibility of that? Moving forward?
I don't, I would like that. I just, again, literally just was introduced to Ezra yesterday, and I spoke with him today. I will find out what his schedule is. I know certainly I can think of areas where we definitely will need peer review, but to some extent there may be areas where we don't. I can't commit we'll have a full roster. We may have some, but the important thing is essentially this is your ball to start with. Convince us why the project should be approved, knowing what the concerns are that the town addressed. That's the best way. Okay, I think here, unless you want to hang around, we've got some minutes to review, and then after that we will adjourn. We're continuing the hearing until Thursday, December 12th at 7 p.m.
Mr. Chairman, if I may just ask,
Yes.
Is this hearing on the 12th going to be by Zoom, or would you like us there in person?
It's funny. You can almost tell by vintage who likes live meetings. Me and a few other old fogies love the live meetings, but I think we're outnumbered. We've been told that horse and buggy has left the barn. It's going to be Zoom, and we don't have the capacity to have live with televised Zoom, which some towns do. It's too expensive for Dover. So, given the choice, we're going to be Zoom. We're also we'll need to figure out how soon. I want this consultant on board, but I'm thinking, Paul, as soon as we get your stuff and we meet after that, after the 12th, that we schedule a site walk. I'm a little concerned this may be a winter where we suddenly get snow and that becomes impractical. But I don't know if a site walk before we get your information is going to be that productive. I mean, we could do one, but we'd certainly need one after, because I imagine you're going to propose a number of things we haven't even thought of yet.
We can accommodate a sidewalk at any time. Obviously, the weather will impact, but
okay, that sounds great, Paul. Okay, well, listen, I think with that being said, why don't we address our minutes, and let's see here.
Thank you, guys.
Hey,
Thank you. I'm going to sign off as well.
Yes,
Thank
I'm
you.
Okay, Todd, it's very nice meeting you. Thank
You as
you.
well. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman
Mr.
and
Chairman.
board
Thank
members.
you, to the board.
Dylan, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.
You bet. Okay. And board members, you know, we've circulated these already that are very, very detailed. I actually had our counsel check them over to be sure that I was accurate. And, you know, and yeah, she was very pleased actually with these. But this basically is what we've all seen. If anyone would like to discuss or suggest edits, I guess now would be the time. But otherwise, I think yes.
I notice in there, one of the attendees has their hand raised. Janice.
Okay, you know what? Chris Costello would be the one. Oh, you can see that. Let me just see. Why can't I know. Maybe it's because I'm sharing my screen that I don't see that, I think. Okay. So who is that who's raising her hand?
It looks like Janice.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. So, George, I very much first want to appreciate the way that you conduct meetings. This is now the second one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Janice, you went on mute.
Well, Janice, you're on mute.
Darn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can
fine.
you still hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. So, we were told just a couple of days ago about the meeting, you know, addressing 81 and 85 Tisdale. And we were told that we had to resend or either send new letters, resend letters, whatever, directly to you and to the board. But now I'm wondering if we're not supposed to do that based on what you just said during this meeting.
Oh, okay. No, no, you're welcome to submit comments.
Okay.
It's just that I wanted people to understand why your neighbor is not responding to you. That's all. That it's fine. In fact, I've bundled the last batch of emails, and the board will see all of them. It's just that the only time we're going to respond will be in these hearings that are recorded. But you know, you're fine to do that. I will tell you that what I saw so far, I haven't really seen anything new in terms of an issue that's not already been highlighted by the town and by Dylan. So it's fine. I understand it's so important for everyone. I know if it were my home, I'd be typing away and sending stuff. But none of us should be responding to specific one-on-one things. We want to keep that for the hearing process.
Okay. Yeah, that I understand.
George, could I add something? Sorry, this is Kristen.
Yes. Hey, Kristen. Hi. Hello.
Hi. I just wanted to just chime in on that, just to add that any letters submitted by abutters or emails submitted by abutters will be part of the record. So whether the project is approved or denied, if there is an appeal on either side, those letters and emails will be part of the record. So you can rest assured on that too, Janice. I just wanted to
thank you.
offer
In
that.
fact, and that's exactly why I am keeping them all in one spot. And actually, I did send a bundle of them to the board the other day, not for us to comment outside of school, but basically so they could see and keep up with what people are pointing out. Yeah, and there's virtual unanimity of concerns from what I see.
I have a question, George. Has everybody on the board driven down Tisdale Road to see what it looks like?
Oh, I have.
Yeah, I went down the other day and I was like, so if for some reason the road isn't usable, then there's no sense even, you know.
Oh no, I think
I have to see.
now again, One
They own
thing,
it.
Laverne, I don't want to talk about that.
Right.
The developers left. And
But
so,
I mean,
yeah.
it's one road in.
No,
Like
really.
it's like
No,
Old Middle Road.
Laverne,
One road
I've got to
one
insist. I've got to insist.
Okay.
Okay, we're not
Just I
going
think
to
everybody should drive
deliberate
down
after
there.
they have left. Okay, okay. I'm sorry. I know, but
Yeah.
it just has to be that way. Okay, and don't raise the price on the flowers when I go in there. Okay. Okay.
No problem. No problem.
Okay. Well, look, I think at this point, is there a motion to approve the minutes? I can share them again.
So
But
moved.
this actually reflected, Nancy had.
George,
some
I
comments for me.
move to adopt the minutes as drafted.
Oh, thank you. Is there a
Second.
Okay. And all in favor?
Nadir in favor.
Okay, now our favorite motion of the evening, a motion to adjourn, unless someone has anything else to suggest. I think a motion to adjourn would be in order.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Nadir in favor.
8:09.
Thank you, George. Thank you, George.
Listen,
Good
thank you.
job.
Hey, everyone, I'll tell you, I wouldn't do this without you folks. This has just been delightful. Okay, we'll be seeing each other.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, thanks
Yes.
very much,
Happy Thanksgiving.
everyone. Okay,
Fabulous.
you bet.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye, everyone.
Okay,
Take care, everybody. Have a good night.
you bet.
See you later, Chris.